Hello again, it's Terry here for Tailored Expressions. I am so happy that you are joining me today to create 2 cards using the wonderful piece pattern card making kit. So let's get started. So here's a look at what's included in the card making kit. We have the Insider's Everyday Occasion. You'll receive 3 copies of each. I really like these because you can always use foil to add some shimmer and shine to it. There are also tailored expression maps pieced patterns. This is really neat because it makes piecing colors together super easy. All that you have to do is follow up the patterns on this sheet with whatever color cardstock you want. It'll create a really cool design for you without having to do all the heavy thinking, especially if you don't have a lot of time to do that. And you'll also receive piece pattern in square and triangles. This allows you to cut the pieces to use with or without the maps. There are also sticky sheets included in the kit, which makes it more efficient to adhere the pieces together. You can see here that it's a double-sided sticky sheet. So you'll adhere one side to your choice of cardstock, and the other side will have adhesive to adhere to your project. I will demonstrate later in this video. And lastly, there's a 6x6 background stamp set called Foursquare. Other products that I will use that's not a part of the kit includes colored cardstock in the colors Oreo, buttercream frosting, sugar cube, strawberry milkshake, candy corn, banana cream pie, mint julep, and cotton candy. A few dies that I use for the projects today includes frame and frame cutting plate, on occasion stamp and die set, and open scallop circle. I will heat emboss a few of the sentiments and will use Versamark ink with gold embossing powder. To add some texture, I will be using gold embellishment. For adhesive, I am using foam squares and liquid adhesive. I will also use piece pattern envelope seals. Okay, so first I would like to share how I applied the sticky sheets to my cardstock. I have a piece of banana cream pie cardstock that I trimmed in half. I am going to remove one side of the sticky sheet and apply it directly to the cardstock. I like to remove just a little bit of the release paper at a time to have more control on the placement. I went ahead and applied it to the top half of the cardstock, then used a second sticky sheet for the second half of the cardstock. Now I am going to run this through my die cutting machine using the piece pattern triangle die. As you can see here, the triangles pop right out of the cardstock with adhesive on the back. All that you have to do is remove the white release sheet from each die cut and you'll find it to be completely sticky. I went ahead and did the exact same thing to all of the colored cardstock that I will be using for this project. So here's a look at all the pieces that I will be using. I am going to start off by selecting one design from the TE Map Piece Pattern set. I started off with Strawberry Milkshake cardstock. Having the sticky sheet behind each triangle piece makes the process so fast and efficient. All that you have to do is peel and stick while following the design on the map. I went ahead and continued the process with candy corn, banana cream pie, mint julep, cotton candy, and buttercream frosting. Here you can see the final results. I went ahead and trimmed the final card panel to 4 inches by 5¼ inches. Here's a look at the panels that I created using the same colors but using different map designs. It looks completely different. You can use the piece triangle or squares to cut a bunch of pieces out of different colored cardstock and then go to town using all of the different map designs. Okay, so for the first card design, I am going to use one of the frames from the frame and frame cutting plate set and die cut that out of sugar cube cardstock a few times. I'm cutting it a few times because I like to use liquid adhesive to layer the frames together. Doing this will create dimension onto the overall design. After layering it together, I use liquid adhesive to adhere it to the piece pattern card panel. Okay, now for the sentiment. I am using On Occasion stamp and die set. I place the stamps in my MISTI with a sheet of vellum. I have already conditioned the vellum sheet with an anti-static powder tool. This will prevent the embossing powder from sticking to unwanted areas. I stamped the sentiments with Versamark ink and applied gold embossing powder. I then used my heat tool to melt the embossing powder until it was nice and smooth. I went ahead and used a coordinating dies to die cut the sentiments off screen. Now I am trying to figure out which sentiment to use for this card design. I really like how the vellum looked against the pattern, but I felt like it was getting washed out. So I decided to use a coordinating sentiment die and die cut a few out of buttercream frosting cardstock. I adhered it to the back of the vellum sentiment. Doing this helped breaks up the sentiment from the pattern in the background. I then added foam squares to the top portion of the sentiment to make sure it aligned nicely with the frames, and added a few drops of glue towards the bottom of the sentiment to secure it. I then went in with gold embellishment and added that to the card design. I like how this created texture and shine. So now for the second card. I went ahead and die cut the open scallop circle out of sugar cube cardstock. I then selected one of the piece pattern envelope seals to use as a sentiment. The envelope seals fit perfectly within the scallop circle. Then using foam squares, I adhere the scallop circle to the piece pattern card panel. And of course, like the first, I added gold embellishment to create some texture. I backed the card panel to a matted cardstock and adhered it to a top folding card base. And there you have it. I hope you enjoy this tutorial, and please don't forget to like this video and follow us for more card making tutorial. Until next time, I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye bye.